Coach, and I'm coming here today to do a little intro video. I'm just going to break down who I am, why I do what I do, and how I can help you. Anywho, so let's get right into it. So right now I'm looking at a study, and I heard about this study months ago, back when it was cold, back in maybe I would say October to December-ish of 2018, and it really touched me because I spent a large portion the first years of my degree. I was an economics student. I was very math oriented, and I spent the first years of my career in investment and financial planning. So I was an investment broker for Capital One, which Capital One Investing now, but it used to be ShareBuilder, and before that it was ING Direct. When I first started investing in stocks, I was like 17. I had a hotel job working at the Westin Cincinnati in downtown Cincinnati, and I was meeting all these like ballers and ball players, like all the guys who would come to play soccer and stuff like that. And honestly, I say guys because it wasn't a lot of women, like they didn't bring the women's teams there, but I got to see so many African Americans and so many Latinos and things like that who played on baseball teams, etc. And just really, they were just living their dreams. Like these guys, they come from nowhere, right? They come from, bumfuck wherever, and they really make a life and a career out of something that they're passionate about. So I started investing way back when I was 17, 18, being in the financial field, being in a finance degree, being in an investment in a finance, like surrounded by those people, I had no choice. So I'm going to be honest, I invested in Southwest way back then, but they were like $7 a share. Now they're when I finally cashed out on my stock, and I should never have done it because the Southwest stock is still climbing. But money was tight and I needed it. It was way back in when it was $49 a share. I'm not sure where Southwest is right now. I mean, I could do a quick search, but honestly, that's not what this video is about. But it was 7 times the value of it. So that just gives you a little bit of premise as to what this video is about. I call myself the Badass Brand Coach because I wanted people to be unafraid. Like, you have to be unafraid and unapologetic about what it is. If curse words turn you off, then you honestly don't want to watch my videos. You don't want to work with me, etc. Because I'm very real. What you see is what you get, right? Like, my husband's a Marine. There's no way that I'm not cursing in the mouth. So, anywho, I do what I do for the betterment of you, for the betterment of Black businesses. Right now, I'm looking at a report from Prosperity Now and the Institute of Policy Studies, or the Institute for Policy Studies, that was done. My goodness, this study was done back in September 11th. It was published September 11th, 2017. And I heard about it way back in the winter time of 2018 on NPR, the Nnamdi Kojo show, but I really didn't dive into it, and I really regret not diving into it because this was even before Nipsey Hussle's passing, which just happened this past spring of 2019, and this big influx of Blacks being like, okay, I'm just really going to focus on the things that I need to do to build prosperity and wealth for my family. This study shows that by 2053, African Americans will have amassed zero wealth, and that's because, and we're going to talk about that. And so 20 years later, it's supposed that Latinos who are immigrants to this country also will have amassed zero wealth, but they have 20 more years because of the way that they live. So let's talk about that. When people come here, it's like me moving to DC. When I moved to the DC area, I was like, oh my God, like I'm right down the street from the White House. I'm about to network and move and shake. And I did all of those things. Little did I know, I really just didn't want to be in those circles. I didn't want to be in GovCon. That's why I'm not in corporate America anymore. I don't want to work with that mindset anymore. That's not where I am. So I don't take clients from that mindset. I don't write content for that mindset. I don't freelance. I don't do any side gigs. If you find me side gigging, I'm going to be doing something like, walking dogs or something cute, fun that just allows me to be able to deal with things that I want to deal with. I no longer have to side gig now that I've, created the system which allows me to bring in clients regularly. But whenever I give other people ideas about side gigs or I share opportunities, it's never like, okay, go into corporate America and do this, right? Like I get opportunities all the time for 6-figure salary positions coming from corporate America, and I am just not interested. So I digress, but this report from Prosperity Now and Institute for Policy Studies, these are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They are non-subjective. They're objective. They're very objective reports done from a very objective standpoint. It just takes in the financial picture of all of the parties involved: whites, blacks, Hispanics, Hispanics and Latinos, Native Americans, Asians, etc. I ain't worried about nobody else. Honestly, I'm not going to go back through anybody else's statistics. I really don't care about anybody else's statistics, because black families are the ones that I'm most concerned about, because that's my family. And that's what I do. My market, Badass Brand Coach, my brand, everything that I focus on is about black businesses, black startups, black entrepreneurship, black brands, black audiences, because we are a unique dynamic in this country. We face a very unique set of circumstances when it comes to launching a business, getting education, buying a home, investing in things, etc. And it's not to further distance or segregate or anything of that sort. It's just that we face a unique set of challenges and we need unique opportunities and solutions. And that's what I am here to do. So Badass Brand Coach focuses only on minority startups and small businesses that either need to brand, like solidify their branding, or start and build and grow and develop their brand, along with scalability, automated systems and solutions, really getting in touch with your customer, really getting focused and zoned in. So it's a lot of different aspects that come together to bring your business into focus and into alignment and into success and abundance. And I go through all of those in my course called Brand Marketing Mastery. But I'm not even here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about you and your business. Our families are poised to be median, and this is a median wealth. That means half of us will be above and half of us will be below, right? To make that median point, that midpoint. Median is the midpoint. If our wealth is set to 0, then some of us are going to be very, very wealthy, and some of us are going to be absolutely not wealthy at all. The issue is that, just like with our parents' generation, the country and everything in the world is, I had to decline a call. Everything in the world is actually changing and shifting, just like it was for our parents. So I grew up in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, born and bred. I'm a Buckeye. Hey, what's up, LBJ? King LeBron. So I grew up in Ohio. I'm a Buckeye. We grew up in the Midwest. You can see things that are going on in Michigan. You can see things that are going on in Ohio, and a lot of the different areas where, automotive industry really funded, where, our families, our lifestyles, everything. And then that was stripped away from us just because of business decisions, economic decisions. A lot of our families really failed to prosper after that because they didn't know how to shift, as the country, as the world shifted. So right now we're facing another shift. So then it was automotive, and it transferred into products, into tech, right? Like the Bill Gates, Microsoft, Apple. You think about those types of companies now, it's Google and etc. But we are still shifting in a more technologically advanced way. All right, we're shifting to where Elon Musk and Tesla are prototyping flying cars, just like what you saw in, Black Panther. Those cars with those that are those vehicles and machines that are run off of electric current and energy. That is something that we're going to electricity. Like we're not going to need tracks. We're not going to need cars. We're going to be able to fly light rail, just like with energy, with science. And then you also have things like Uber prototyping flying cars and drones, the country is changing. Artificial intelligence, augmented reality, you know, cannabis, agriculture, science, anything of any sort of space here, cyber technology. If you are not in it and you are not or if you're not in like working in it and owning it or investing it, which is another form of equity ownership, still a way to gain ROI on your money, on your investment, you're left behind. Quite frankly, Verizon Wireless came in and sat on my parents' couch in the late 90s, early 2000s, before it really took off. And there was a representative that said, you know, we're looking for people to get in on the ground floor. It was like a startup. It almost probably felt like a multi-level marketing company, like a 5 Links or an Arbonne or whatever you want to, whatever multi-level marketing company. It probably almost felt like something that was, and I think why people are so afraid of those types of companies is because your measure of success is based off of how hard you're willing to work, right? So I think that they almost felt like, shit, that's never going to take off. That's not going to work. A telecommunication system that's global and you ain't never going to get that off the ground. You know what I mean? They didn't have the vision, unfortunately. And my dad is very visual, like very dreamy, and my mom's very practical. So honestly, I could just see my mom talking to my dad completely out of that. My dad was probably like, hell yeah, I'm ready to invest right now today. But I'm pretty sure my mom talked him out of that. Anyway, I wouldn't be recording this video. Honestly, I probably would not. I mean, I'm sure that life would have been completely different for them. I wouldn't have been here. They might not even have been together. I never know, because a sequence of events, life sequence of events lead you to where you are. My parents turned down the opportunity to be on the front end of the telecommunication system, which, if you know anything about Cincinnati Bell and like the whole rise into really to the truth of telecommunications and everything that it is now, that would have been huge. My parents would have been wealthy to the point to where they had no cares in the world, and they're not bad off now. They're just not there. You understand? So I say all of that. I talk about investing. I'm talking about generational wealth. I'm talking about giving back to your community and supporting others. I'm talking about making sure that your kids are safe. I'm talking about, like, right now in this life, one of the reasons why I work so hard is because I want my parents to experience freedom, true financial freedom. I want them to not ever have to have another concern in their minds before they leave this earth, right? Because death is imminent. Like, it's going to happen to everybody, but I want my parents to feel this type of way and feel what it means to truly be financially free. And I'm creating that for them. Like, literally, that is what I work towards every single day. That's what I do. I mean, not only for my parents, my husband and I, we desire a different type of lifestyle. We are very voyeuristic. We like to travel a lot. We don't like to be in one place. We don't really like the United States all that much. I mean, the air is bad and people are crazy and too much stuff is just going on. That's a whole nother video. Trust me, I got a whole line of videos for that. Stay tuned. But we imagine ourselves living overseas and traveling overseas and not being here. So, like, we are into our first year of our 3-year plan to really just move our family somewhere else. We're already working on being trilingual. My husband's family is Hispanic, and they know my husband knows a general amount of Spanish. I know un poquito amount of Spanish because I used to dabble in Hispanics a lot. But you have to prepare and position yourself for wealth in this country. You have to be very, very deliberate about the next steps that you're going to be taking. So I am here to help your brand and help your business propel forward so that you can have the funds to invest in these things that are coming up and start to create generational wealth for yourself. What other things do you want to do with your life, right? Before I die, I want to learn how to finish learning French, learn how to record, play piano. I want to record an album. I want to travel to, I'm not even interested in traveling to all the continents. I'm gonna be quite honest. Like, Australia don't do nothing for me. Like, too many bugs, too many too many snakes. I am not interested. But as as many of the other, continents and different countries that I can travel to, that's where I want to be. I've already been to Asia. We haven't been to Africa yet. We've been to Europe, like we just living life, breathing new air, tasting new foods, trying new wine, smoking new weed, like all of that stuff. Those are all the things that we have on our bucket list, and we're going to accomplish that because we plan and we act deliberately towards that. You cannot plan and act deliberately towards that if you are still in the mindset of working for someone for the rest of your life. They tell you when you can take your own hours, your own free time. You have to plan it and ask for permission. You will never be wealthy working for someone else because your worth is going to be contingent upon, a manager who determines whether or not you should get a pay raise. And I don't know about you, but most of the managers I've had have never encompassed the mindset or the knowledge or the experience that I've had. They were dumb. They were just dumb. They were dumb. But when you look the way that certain people look, they get opportunities, or if you're willing to do a little bit extra for your opportunities. I'm not willing to do extra for my opportunities. I'm not going to jump through hoops and skip and hop and dance for anybody. My worth is determined by the value of what I bring to the table. And I've never shied away from knowing what I bring to the table. I told a woman this on a conversation today. I said, listen, I never accept what you give me. I'm always going to negotiate, and I'm always going to fight for myself. I always negotiated my pay. I always negotiated my benefits, my remote work days, my time off. And guess what? I've always had multiple offers on the table because I knew my worth. So whenever somebody was trying to give me a shit offer, I always came back with a much better offer. And either I shoot for the stars and we can meet in the middle, or this thing is not going to happen. You need me a lot more than I need you. Okay. So remember that when you go into work. I'm not saying go into work and quit, because I haven't recorded my side hustles video to help y'all earn any of the extra income that you could get that you're going to need if you decide to leave your job today. But I'm just giving you an idea of how you should be treating yourself. So pricing and promotion and valuing yourself and all that's going to come in another video. But I really just wanted to come to you today to talk about generational wealth, closing that wealth gap, creating wealth and opportunities and abundance and a life of financial freedom and early retirement and all of that great stuff for yourself and your kids. You can't do that working for someone else. You can invest and live, do all this and have some real estate here and there. And you can eventually work your way to that. But the biggest and easiest and best way to do that is to find a system that you can automate that works for you 24/7, that is about something that you're passionate about when you're helping other people's lives, right? So if you help somebody else, you find a way to automate that process so that you can be pulling in clients, customers, whatever, 24/7, evergreen. We call it evergreen or automated business. And then you create that solution. You create that network of solutions to really create change in somebody else's life. Because when you're creating change in someone else's life, you're getting warm referrals, you're getting loyalty, they're coming back to you. That's brand loyalty. That's brand market share. That's brand recognition. Those are your customers and clients for life. So I didn't want to make this video too long. I can go on and on and on, but I'm going to go ahead and stop here because we're going to talk about some other topics in some upcoming videos. And please feel free to leave your comments below. I'll link the study below so that you can read the study for yourself. But we need to start shifting our businesses so that they are successful, so that we can have the financial freedom and the flexibility and the abundance to be able to live our lives on our terms, or live life by design. And then also so that you can invest in these upcoming things so that your family is not one of the ones in that generational wealth gap that places you at zero wealth by 2053. America will be majority minority by 2044. Less than 10 years later, half of that majority is expected to be broke. Zero wealth. And that's scary. It's time to change it. Jump on board. Go ahead and book your 45-minute free badass brand strategy. If you're stuck in your brand, or you want to revitalize your brand, or if you want to launch your brand, if you have a concept and you have a passion and you're just ready to get started, all of those things, I will leave that link below. If you have any questions, please put your comments below. Don't be afraid to ask or step out there. Your question, I'm sure other people will have that same question. And, you know, like, share, subscribe, stay tuned, tap into those notifications so that you can hear, so that you can get updated when I post my next videos. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side of this video. All right, talk soon.